So, welcome back to Tales Tomorrow. I am Morrow, your storyteller for today, and with me I have some more RPG horror stories. I'm in the mood to make some more Tiefling friends. I mean, I've made some friends with y'all, which is really cool, but I'm wondering, are there any other content creators for like D&D related material that have a Tiefling as their character? If there are, please make sure to let me know in the comments below because I'd love to make some more Tiefling friends. Let's go ahead and get to RPG horror stories. Paladin refuses to accept healing from Tiefling cleric and tries to kill them cause of their evil. Yay, another. Why does it always feel like just some sort of lawful stupid paladin that thinks every single tiefling is evil? Listen, I get it, we look devilishly handsome, but doesn't mean we're evil. It just means we're red or purple and of horns. This happened during one of the many D&D campaigns I joined over the years. The cast. DM, a high D&D veteran and had a good campaign story and world. Me, just a bland human fighter, that's all. Druid, a small gnome druid who's always talked like he was high on shrooms. Paladin, an high and mighty symbol of justice who will smite all evil, and later a party member. Wizard, nice, smart, but not involved too much. Cleric, a standard red tiefling cleric of peace and harmony, also a new player added later in the campaign. The story starts when we were heading into a town to rest. Paladin wanted to visit the town church to ask for shelter and food. DM, you enter and see that it's a small place that also works as a local orphanage, and you see a tiefling in robes holding a book and gets cut off.
I draw my sword. State your reason for being here, demon, or get sent back to hell where you belong.
Please put away your weapon. This is a place of worship, not violence. Oh my god, are you playing a pacifist cleric? They suck. Paladin, it's cleric's choice on what her domain is. She should have gone with life to be a better healer at least. Oh, screw off. Let people play whatever they want to play. There's so many flavors of cleric. Why not let people play it? Don't force people to play life cleric just because it's a good healer. Yeah, it might be a good healer statistically, sure. But I mean, it's up to the player at this point. It's the same thing as me saying there's so many flavors of Paladin you choose and you decide to be lawful stupid. At least play not lawful stupid. After a while, cleric joined the party with Paladin always making incest rolls at random. Incest? I think it means insight, not incest. Incest? I hope it's not incest rolls, that'd be disturbing. Always making insight rolls at random to quote, see through her devilish lies, with the DM and cleric always telling him to stop and that there's nothing evil about her. Soon we get a simple goblin ambush with cleric giving us support with healing and protection spells while staying a bit away from combat. In the end, Paladin got hit hard as cleric approached him. You look hurt, here let me help. Start to cast cure wounds at 2nd level.
Get away from me, you demonic heathen! Your seduction won't won and a holy warrior of God!
Proceeds to shove cleric away. She just trying to help us. Yeah, just get over your grudge with her.
Druid, heal me instead.
I only went for combat spells. I'll wait for long rest then. You're at half health. You sure you can last that long? Paladin said nothing as the DM went on with the story. Cleric decided to take night watch with Wizard as Paladin decides to not long rest sleep as he starts to follow Cleric around till she sat and began a prayer. While she's distracted, I draw my sword and impale her with a smite. What? Paladin, I said no PvP in session 0 and now you're breaking the rules. It's not PvP if she's not fighting back. What? Yes it is. PvP means player versus player. Regardless if a player is fighting back, if you just attack another player or some other player attacks you, that's still considered PvE. There's a difference between PvE, player versus everyone, or player versus environment, and PvP, where it's player versus player. It's not player versus another player that is just not attacking at this point. It's still player versus player. Oh, this Paladin is the worst. Cleric at this point doesn't speak, and her mic is voiceless with soft cries coming out. Paladin rolls, despite DM saying he can't, and gets max damage as he proclaims,
now you die, you unholy spawn of evil.
Paladin, as your sword impales her, a bright light shines from your sword. As the smite is sent back to you, your flesh starts to melt off, your head shrinks, and you explode into a pile of guts and blood as your holy god quickly resurrects Cleric, as you had broken your sworn oath to your god for killing an innocent person. Paladin is quickly kicked from the game by DM as Cleric stops crying for a bit as the rest of us apologize to her. DM says she can't leave if she wants to, but she still wants to try playing again. She stayed in our game until she left due to time schedule. I'll say this: to be responsible, you should always try to solve out-of-game issues out of game and try to figure out things before you make things happen in-game. But if the Paladin decides to just attack the cleric for no reason, but at the same time, this is D&D and player actions matter, including the ones that God of a specific Paladin may not appreciate. On one hand, I say that he should just be booted without having the whole theatrics of his character being killed. But on the other hand, I kind of find a little bit of entertainment with if a player decides to continue with a stupid action and is like, go for it, I'm rolling DM, then DM has the right to give them the consequences of their action to play out. If they discuss at session 0 they don't want any PvP, and Paladin still continues to try to do PvP after session 0, well, I mean, it kind of just desserts, I guess. I don't want to gloat and say that's like, oh my god, hell yeah, DM punished the problem player and everything, and everybody's happy, because, I mean, at the end of the day, this probably could have been solved easier by just straight up telling Paladin no and not letting his actions happen, or just straight up kicking him instead of the theatrics. But I mean, if they were thinking of getting rid of the player anyway, I mean, might as well. Anyway, let's get over to the next story for today. Play as a female or else. I was talking with a friend from an old guard, and I suddenly remembered this one. Bear in mind, English isn't my first language, and I'm using my phone for this one. Damn you, autocorrect. When I first got into the hobby, I was highly insecure and lacked lots of self-confidence, and I couldn't say no to toxic individuals. During my time in gaming store, there were two guys who were kind of famous. The first one, we're gonna call Felix, a Pumonka player, Werewolf the Apocalypse, changing breeds, a were-feline player who used to flaunt his money and how he used to book every book in his store. The whole, I'm better GM because I can buy X, Y, and Z books. And also the, well, actually type of guy. And the second one, we'll call Stevie. He was this very odd individual with strange ideas about the hobby. Things like elderly people should play RPGs so their kids don't leave them in retirement communities or in care houses. He was well known in the community for knowing everyone and being a big game organizer. Okay, I gotta break character just a little bit, right? So, break character a little. I have a Russian grandma that lived through the era of like Soviet era USSR communism, right? To imagine her playing anything like D&D, I mean, she plays board games and she's really good at chess and everything, but to see her play D&D would be absolutely baffling. I think it would be really cool to see some like elderly players play like D&D and TTRPGs in general. I think that'd be super dope, but yeah, I can't imagine that. Thing is, I was very new and was very into World of Darkness back in the day. Ah, VTM revised. How do I miss you? P.S. Frick V5. I'm assuming it's like 5th edition or 5th version or something. I don't know what exactly they have for Vampire the Masquerade. We had some crazy Vampire the Masquerade stories, and you know what? As wild as they are, there's a lot of lessons to learn from them for sure. During this era, I was still very new to the whole roleplay, and during the game run by Felix, he wanted me to play as a female character for some strange reason. He would push the idea that I should play as a chick. No idea why, but I wasn't too comfortable with it. I didn't have the acting skills back in the day to roleplay as a female, and I still don't really have that ability. Kudos for anyone who can RP as their opposite gender or gender identity. I salute you. While I was still telling Felix that I didn't feel comfortable, Stevie heard that and said, either you do it, or I'll ban you for the next conventions and tell every GM in the city not to run your games. Or you go and buy us a burger, fries, and large soda to Felix and I. And nuggets, Felix added. I sighed, saw how much cash I had, and I accepted their terms. I was legit blackmailed by those two grinning assholes. You should have delivered something a little bit extra for them, like a knuckle sandwich. I kid. I don't want to encourage violence, but like these guys, those guys. The jerks. You don't want to play as a female character? You don't have to. If you want to make a female character, go for it. Do what you want to do. And don't let somebody like Felix or Stevie affect what you should be doing or should not be doing, or let alone blackmailing you because you don't want to do a thing. Pretty sure Felix and Stevie wouldn't appreciate if the shoe was on the other foot and they were blackmailed every single time they didn't do those things as a DM or a storyteller or whichever role they're doing. After that, I decided to keep myself at bay for those two. Last thing I heard was that Stevie had gotten into local politics, and Felix was still a douchebag who thought he could fix all his life problems by becoming a Chad and pretending as if he never played D&D or any RPGs. He turned his back on the hobby. Somebody responded to this post down below and they mentioned that they're probably gonna try to do some weird fetish nonsense, and probably they were. They sound like a bunch of weirdos that just kind of wanted to power trip and control people. Honestly, it's really weird. But you know what? I'm glad you don't interact with them, and I hope you get to play with people that are actually gonna be good for you. And with that, that's gonna be all our stories for today. I want to thank you very much for watching, and thanks so much for being here. If you like what I do, consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like. Also, if the RPG Horror Stories ever goes down, or if you want to submit your own personalized horror story, email is down in the description below. I'll see you again in more Tales tomorrow. Bye-bye.